I used to have this crunchy ass homie, right? So one of these chicks, he brought around me and she would be eyeballing me. This dude went to jail, right? She would call me for random shit and be like, hey, what's good, daddy? I'm like, aren't you still with such and such? She's like, yeah, but he got locked up. Plus, I don't want to fuck you. I said, really? She said, yeah, I'm in the front of the apartments. Come get me. So I walked all the way up to the front of the apartment, smashed her. No, but the reason why I have a mental thing with mayonnaise and ranch and shit like that. When I was in the 2nd grade, like I told you, same cafeteria, same auditorium. Just something about the sight of ranch and mayo and shit. As a kid, I always thought it was disgusting. I'm sitting there playing in the food. I'm mixing pudding, ranch, salad dressing, everything. The teacher comes over there and says, now you're gonna eat it. She says, eat it or you're not leaving this cafeteria. I just looked up at her. All right, so I had a homie. He was dating this chick that I hooked him up with. It was one night. He was like, damn, when he's like, I'm calling her up and she ain't answer the phone. I got a feeling she cheated on me, bro. The Beckys stayed on the deep west side. I was thinking like, well, I don't know how to drive. I got a car out there, but I don't know how to drive and I don't have my license yet. He's like, where the your keys at? He's like, where your keys at? Dude found my keys, ran outside, hopped in my car, started off. I said, what are you doing? I run out there. I get in between my vehicle and another vehicle, and the dude like crunched one of my knees. I was like, nigga, you on my knee. Man, my mom, when I used to see her pick me up from that private school, I was always the last kid to get picked up. So she actually sees the kid, right? It's raining outside. I go outside and the kid hugs me, right? He said, bye, and he hugs me. And as I'm walking away, he trips me in the rain. My cousin came down for one summer. We kicking it. He's like, all right, bro. He's like, shit, where the bitch that you promised me? I said, all right, I got this little freak ass white bitch, blah, blah, blah. She comes through. We all came from single parent households with no dads. I don't remember how we got it to this level. She's like, I've been walking for so long, like, I need to take a shower. I was like, how about we join you? We're in the shower with this chick dumping honey all over this bitch. You don't want to fuck with me. Yo, Hearts Uneasy with the 10 gifters though to hit that motherfucking goal? Oh, shit. We'll talk about Will resigning, obviously. We'll go into Chris Rock looking sad. You read Chris used to be bullied? I mean, he kind of talked about it in Everybody Hates Chris. You know, I was bullied when I was a kid from entire classrooms. To me, it makes you stronger. Let's see, I was bullied. As soon as I went to public school, I was bullied. I don't remember 1st grade, or do I? 1st grade, okay. I was bullied 1st through 4th grade because I was tall and I was quiet. So 1st grade, I remember going to this Christian school, right? So a lot of you guys, I told you guys this before, growing up, my mom was a single parent, obviously. So whenever she had a good job, she would put us in private school. Whenever she had a job that wasn't so good, or she was in between jobs, she would take us out of private school and put us in public. I think I've been to I think in elementary, I went to about 9 different schools between 1st and 3rd grade. I remember it like it was yesterday. So I was in 1st grade and there was this kid named Leon. Like I said, I was always tall, I was always quiet. I was like damn near a mute in school. So, I don't know, teachers maybe thought I was slow or thought that something, I don't know what, everybody thought I was slow or some shit when I was a kid because I never said anything. I was just really fucking quiet, like abnormally quiet. So 1st grade, long story short, there was this kid named Leon in the class. And this dude, like, he would always trip me, push me, try to steal my fruit snacks, you know, just shit like that. And I would go home and I ignored it for a while, and then I finally like told my mom. I was like, Mom, there's this kid named Leon. He keeps like pushing me and tripping me. Every time I'm in a hallway, I'm getting tripped, pushed, this and that. And I didn't do anything because, you know, I'm a child. So I told her, and I'll never fucking forget. I remember this shit from 1st fucking grade, bro. It was a rainy ass. I know this shit might sound fake, like a movie, like a TV show, but this is exactly how it happened. Man, my mom, when I used to see her pick me up from that private school, when she would get in front of the gate, I was always the last kid to get picked up. I know it sounds too perfect. I know it sounds like some victimized story, but it's not. I'm just telling you my shit. I was always the last kid to get picked up 2 hours later after all the kids were gone. All of them. So it was one fucking afternoon, evening or whatever. It's damn near probably like, just remembering the time of daylight. It wasn't cold, but it wasn't hot. So it was probably like spring, but it was hella rainy. So I kept telling my mom about this kid, right? So she actually sees the kid, right? It's raining as fuck outside. They're calling like, yeah, your mom's outside to pick you up. I go outside and the kid hugs me, right? He said bye and he hugs me. And as I'm walking away, he trips me in the fucking rain and I fall in the puddle. And my mom comes over there and she grabs the kid and she's like, push him. She's like, push him down in that puddle. So she grabs the kid and I push him down in the puddle. And he's just in the puddle, just crying his fucking eyes out. And we fucking storm off. And I never seen that fucking kid again. I don't know what happened to him, but I went back to school and the kid disappeared. As if he never fucking existed. That's exactly how it happened. I think me and my mom was, I gotta call her tomorrow. Me and my mom was actually laughing about that shit. Like, a few months ago. She's like, how do you remember that? I said, yo, mom, I remember everything. I remember from the ages 5 and up. I remember every fucking thing because I got this, I don't know, this, I wouldn't call this a syndrome, but I got this type of, because I don't think there's a real classification for it, but I got this type of like, I don't want to call it a syndrome, but it's called, I call it painful nostalgic syndrome, where people from the past and situations from the past, yes, it's nostalgic, but it's painful and you don't want to talk to people from the past. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was so fucking nostalgic, it's painful to remember. So that was first grade, right? Second grade, I don't even know if I could say this shit on stream. Look, let's fast forward to third grade. Well, hold on, let's get on second grade, all right? So I even had problems with teachers. So I remember being in the second grade. It was a big ass auditorium. It was an auditorium that they turned into a cafeteria. It had benches. I was still in private school right here. Same private school right there. I still remember what it's called. I'm not going to tell you the name. So every kid is eating their food, right? I was a real picky kid. If I didn't get what I wanted, I would starve myself. So my mom had to cook according to what I wanted to eat. There were certain ingredients she couldn't put in the shit because if she did, I wouldn't eat a fucking thing. She wouldn't cook with onions because I would starve myself. She knew, like, it's just certain things I wouldn't fuck with. So I'm eating my fruit snacks first, right? We all had like lunches and packed lunches and shit. I'm eating my fruit snacks first. This fucking teacher comes over there and she's like, give me your fruit snacks. She's like, you should have eaten your sandwich first. And I was a mute, so I didn't say anything. So I looked up at her and she says, I took your fruit snacks because you didn't eat your sandwich first. So the bitch took my fruit snacks and never gave me my fucking fruit snacks back. So I'm just sitting there with a boring lunch. You know, when you're a kid, you want like fruit snacks or some goodies in your bag. You know, I had my chips, my sandwich, my fruit snacks. As a child, you want that. So I go home, I tell my mom, I'm like, Mom, Miss such and such took my fruit snacks. She goes up to the school looking for the teacher and says, did you take my son's fruit snacks? And the lady denied it. Long story short, boom, that was over, all right? I think she had pulled me out of the school. Remember, I went to like 9 different fucking schools between the first grade and the fucking 4th grade. I went to like 9 different schools, both public, both private school. Private schools were basically Christian schools. I think that's what a private school is. It's a Christian school. So I get to public school, back to public school. I got plenty of stories, but I'm telling you these particular ones in order, right? I get back to public school. I don't know what grade this was. It might have been 3rd. I go to one public school. I get off the bus. I'm quiet. Me and my sister, we not really talking. She was always more outspoken than me, but at that particular time. But long story short, all the kids will bully us, chase us home, all that type of shit until until one of the girls' brothers who started the shit, they used to be clapping on the bus like, time to get your beating. It's like, we gonna get y'all when you get off the bus. We was running like it was fucking Boys in the Hood. So that shit happened for like a whole goddamn month until the brother was like, yo, y'all gotta stop bullying them. They're not even doing shit, blah, blah, blah. Or we not fucking with y'all no more. This shit getting sad. Fast forward to when I went to this other school in LA on a completely different side of the town. Once I told my mom that, she ripped us from that school, shipped us to another public school. I go to another public school, right? Dude, when I tell you that I got in this class, thank you for going green. When I tell you that I stepped foot in this class, I didn't do a fucking thing and everybody hated me because I was tall, bro. I never had a pleasant day in that fucking classroom the whole goddamn year of being a third grader. I got clowned for wearing Payless shoes every fucking day. I got clowned for being tall every fucking day. The first day I walked into the class, this shit is like a fucking Disney movie. The first day I go into the class, the dude has a seat. He's like, all right. They're like, who's this new kid? Blah, 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 this and that. I didn't say anything because I'm a mute. The dude has his hand on the seat saying, oh, you can sit right here. Pulls the fucking seat out. I fall on the fucking floor with my back. Whole class laughing, clowning. Like a fucking movie. I was a third grader. Like a fucking movie. So there was this kid with glasses named Ernest. I might have told you niggas this shit. There was a kid in the classroom named Ernest. He was the closest to me. So I get the chair and I hit him with the chair and I start kicking him when he's on the fucking ground. Probably the worst thing I ever did. After that, he was crying on the ground. Crying on the ground. After that, the whole class, they hated me. Nigga, when I'm walking out the door, everybody taking turns socking me in the back, pushing me. Every fucking day. And then one day it used to be this, she was a stud in the third grade. She looked like a tomboy, wore boy shit. Her name was Janine. She was even socking me in the back. I'm like, hey, you old tall ass bitch, blah, 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 tall motherfucker, blah. Just, that's all I would hear. And then one day I just started socking niggas in the back. Getting in fights on the schoolyard, everything. Fourth grade, soon as I get into fourth grade, teacher hated me for no fucking reason in the fucking fourth grade. I feel like every time there was a problem on the board or something, she would fucking call me out. I told you guys about the story where there was a fucking piñata. And she said, if you don't know my son, do not grab none of his candy. She threw her son a fucking birthday party on the schoolyard. So we're kids. We're going for Tootsie Rolls, Jolly Ranchers, everything. I go grab the fucking candy. She's like, put that candy down. Didn't I say if you don't know my son, put that candy down? I'm just like, yo, going to school in LA. I mean, it happened when I moved from LA, shit. So you guys saying Chris Rock was getting bullied? Yo, when you're different, or I'm not even gonna say when you're different. Sometimes kids, that's just the cards you're dealt. But I think that it turns you into something either worse or better. Can I tell you why I don't like mayonnaise or ranch? Didn't I tell you that fucking story already? I told you guys, just, you know, like I said, all my life I've been dealing with grimy ass niggas. Like the dude who stole my fucking Batman toys. I told you guys about that story. I came from Seattle from visiting my aunt for a whole goddamn summer. I come back, I got these cool Batman toys. The fucking kid, I used to always walk home with him. Like I told you, his name was Purston. Said, yo, you think I could borrow your Batman toys? I said, if you bring them back tomorrow. He said, yeah, I mean, we walk home from school every day. He's like, I'll bring them back tomorrow. I open my backpack, I give him 5 or 6 cool ass Batman toys. The nigga evaporated. I never seen that motherfucker again. No, his name was Purston. I never seen that nigga again. Nigga took, I'm handing nigga the gadgets, to, you know, the missiles that shoot off, everything. Nigga evaporated. I didn't see him at school. I didn't see him walking home. The nigga evaporated. No, but the reason why I have a mental thing with mayonnaise and ranch and shit like that is because of private school. So when I was in the 2nd grade, like I told you, same cafeteria, same auditorium, they offered free lunch. I always thought anybody's cooking was nasty outside of my mom's growing up. So the ladies back there, they made like some chicken, some nasty ass rice, some salad, and then automatically just default put ranch on it. Just something about the sight of ranch and mayo and shit. As a kid, I always thought it was disgusting. So I'm sitting there playing in the food, mixing pudding, and because we got a side of pudding. I'm mixing pudding, ranch, salad dressing, everything. Because they gave us a little packet too. The teacher comes over there and says, now you're gonna eat it. She's like, you wanna mix it up and waste food that these ladies back there slave? Now you gonna eat it. I just looked up at her. She says, eat it or you're not leaving this cafeteria. So she watched me, nigga, I swear she watched me for a good 15 fucking minutes until I put some of that shit in my mouth. And I could taste it right now, nigga. I'm telling you. It's giving me goosebumps. It was one of the worst fucking tasting things that I ever tasted in my fucking life. It was sour, it was creamy. It had this fucked up texture and it just destroyed me. I can't put that shit in my mouth. I won't fuck with ranch. I won't fuck with mayo to this day because that taste is still in my mouth as a grown ass nigga. For YouTube, as a grown ass man. I can't. Look, if you wanted to torture me, you would strap me to a chair and force mayo down my throat. And I would just be sitting there just foaming at the mouth. Because I couldn't consume it. So like I said, I mean, I got stories for days, but that's not what this is about. Somebody asked me a question. If you guys want my backstory for bullying as a video, I have this clip for you. But I know you guys like my story time shit, so we'll get that. Telling you guys, look, you could fuck a chick as great as you want, but if you could suck a good clitoris, she'll remember you for decades. You'll get a text message like 5 years later. She'll be like, hey. You be like, who's this? She'll be like, oh, it's Veronica. You be like, oh, what's good? It's been a minute. So, I've been with multiple men and no one else can suck my clit as good. Okay. Aren't you married? I mean, you don't have to say it like that, but yeah, I am married. I mean, anyways, I was just trying to have a good conversation. All right, well, sorry to bother. Let me tell you guys, look, the reason why like marriage is scary to me because back in my grimy days, I've actually banged a few wives. Not that I'm proud of it, but it's a scary thought just to think like you could be at work or something like that and somebody just bangs your chick out. Yeah, I remember there was this one chick, this was like some years ago, man. This is probably like 7 years ago or some shit. And it's this chick that I basically knew ever since I was like 11 years old, but we always kept in contact. But anyway, she ended up getting married and shit like that. But she's like, so my husband's at work, I'm not really feeling him like that anymore. Like, do you want to come over and fuck me? I was just like, where do you stay? She was like, I'll send you my address on maps. She ended up staying like 5 minutes away. I go over there to bang, snuck through the backyard. Bitch had crumbs in her bed and all types of All right, no more stories for you motherfuckers. You know, I laid down for top, felt breadcrumbs and shit. I'm like, she's like, oh, let me wipe those off. All right, let me find this video. She ain't loyal, girl cheats on her boyfriend with best friend. This ain't the video I'm talking about, but let's see what it's about. Damn, this dude was grabbing at this bitch's cheeks while she was with her dude. Yo, this is why you can't have niggas as friends. Yes, it is the chick's fault too, but this just reminds me of, you know, some little grimy ass niggas that I used to kick it with when I was a kid. I used to have a friend, you know, we were kids. If a bitch like me, damn, my elbow's ashy. I don't know why my elbows are always ashy. Hold on. Yeah, but like I said, this reminds me of like how grimy black niggas can be. You should know that this type of shit is off limits. But when you're black, bruh, these niggas, man, I don't think this shit is fake. Cause like I said, there was this nigga I grew up with when we were kids. Even when we went into teenagers, for some reason this nigga thought that any bitch I fuck with, he could get her. And I'm just like, I'd always be thinking like, what gives this nigga the audacity to like think for a second? It was like he always tried to be in competition with me. I was never trying to be in competition with this dude, but he was always trying to be in competition with me. Like he'd try to act all hard in front of chicks. He'd be like, I'd ask him a question. He'd be like, what's up? Shit, I don't even know what you mean, nigga. But yeah though. You know, just like act brand new. And I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head like, what's wrong with this nigga? Like, I don't think this shit fake. I don't think he's seen it because the dude was like sneakily billing on one of her cheeks. I believe this is real. You know why I believe this is real? Because I remember when I was a teenager, right? I had this girl I had a crush on. We both liked each other, but we knew we couldn't fuck around because I was friends with her brother. And one of her cousins was my best friends. So anytime one of those niggas left, we would do this right here. Anytime one of those niggas hopped out the room, we just jump each other's bone. Start kissing, grabbing on titties, pussy ass, everything, quickly. Soon as they left the room, soon as we heard them coming back, we jump. I think this is real. This seemed like one of those grimy ass niggas that it's always that friend you have growing up that thinks he can get the same bitch as you. He might not be he might not be on your level physically, nothing. But there's niggas out there that think, because I've been one of those niggas too. I used to have this crunchy black ass homie, right? We were teenagers. He pulled up with this chick. I'm not gonna say her name, but he pulled up with this chick named such and such. I was like, I know this crunchy black ass nigga. If he could get her, I'm thinking kid mentality, not grown ass nigga shit. I'm thinking like, if this crunchy black ass nigga could land this white sexy piece, I know I could fuck with her. So me being young and grimy and I'm doing the same thing that I'm saying that this nigga is a coon for doing. But I was a kid. So one of these chicks, he brought around me, and she would be eyeballing me, everything. It was this like petite white girl with a fucking nice little round booty. And she would keep staring at me and looking at me. And this dude got in trouble and got locked up. I was grimy, bro. I was a grimy ass nigga. I feel bad for this shit to this day. This dude went to jail, right? Everything I'm saying, I'm not making up. This dude went to jail. She would call me for random shit and be like, hey, what's good, daddy? I'm like, what's good? I'm thinking, I was like, what's good, daddy? I was like, aren't you still with such and such? She's like, yeah, but he got locked up. Plus, we not fucking around like that no more anyway. And plus, I don't want to fuck you. I said, if you're serious, come through the night right now. We didn't have whips or nothing like that. This bitch walked from half across town. She's like, all right, I'm here. I said, really? She said, yeah, I'm in the front of the apartments. Come get me. So I walked all the way up to the front of the apartments. Smashed her. Fucked her that night. I was a grimy, listen, I used to be, when it came to sex, I was a grimy ass nigga. I would just fuck anybody. She came through, I served her. I kept serving her, fucking her. Went to her house. Her mom, now this dude used to live, he used to live with her fucking mom, the mom's boyfriend, the mom's kids, all of that shit. I was going over there spending the night, fucking drinking Kool-Aid, having a good time. It was a whole like white trash family. I'm over there just big kicking it, fucking for a whole weekend. She had her own room. Her mom didn't care if we went back there and fucked. Just didn't care. My cousin came down for one summer. He's like, my nigga, where he, you know, he's from LA. So I'm from LA too, but he like super LA. We talk about like super LA to the core. He came down, he's like, hey, Cuddy, he was like, shit. He's like, he's like, if I'm gonna come down there, bro, like, where the weed at? This and that. Like, we gotta have bitches, boom, boom, boom. He visited me like for 2 different summers. This summer, I didn't have no whip. All I had was bitches, but on foot. I said, all right. I said, shit, come through the homie such and such house. It was one of my white homies. You used to go over there and just live like a king. Like, they had all the goodies. His mom had a good ass job. He had all the systems. You go in his room, it's like 3 ninjas, everything. He's like, we kicking it. He's like, all right, bro. He's like, shit, where the bitches at? You promised me this and that. I'm like, all right, I got this one chick I can call over. So I called over the bitch that I was fucking. That was my friend's wifey, girlfriend. Well, was it really a wifey when we were kids? No, we were teenagers. I said, all right, I got this little sexy freak ass white bitch, blah, blah, blah. She comes through. Dude, I'm telling you, when we were kids, our parents all worked, so we did whatever the fuck we wanted. We all came from single parent households with no dads. So we could do whatever the fuck we want. Our parents worked 9, 10, 12 hours a day, so we could do whatever the fuck we wanted to do. I knew that this was my homie's girl, but because she wanted to fuck me, I did it. I was a teenager. I wouldn't do that shit as a nigga I am now. So I said, all right, I got this sexy little white piece coming over. She comes through. We're kicking it, talking. I don't know how, look, I don't remember how we got it to this level. Me and my cousin just talked about this shit on Thanksgiving. We got in the car. He's like, what's good, my nigga? He all rubbing on my, you know, extra hardcore LA nigga. He all fucking my hair and shit. All right, what's good, my nigga? Put me in a headlock and shit. I'm like, all right. He's like, man, remember when we bust that white bitch down? And I'm just like dying in the car. I'm like, see, this is why I can't be in the city, because it would just be too turned up for me. This is why I gotta stay where I'm at. Like, I can't go back to the city like that. So, long story short, my cousin was there. I called her over. We mentioned, she's like, I've been walking for so long, like, I need to take a shower. I said, for sure. I was like, how about we join you? She's like, what you mean we? I said, me and my cousin, we both slide in there with our boxers, you know, put honey on you and shit. This is how you know I was an extra young dumbass nigga, because I would never do no shit like this to this day. Long story short, me and my cousin we're in the shower with this chick dumping honey all over this bitch, chocolate syrup. We dumping honey and chocolate syrup all over this bitch. I'm sucking a titty. This nigga sucking a titty. He behind her kissing her neck. I'm finger banging her. You know, some shit. Because I used to want to be a porn star when I was a kid. I'm like, why did this nigga bring that shit up again? Look, I ain't seen my cousin. I think it might have been 2012, 2013. This Thanksgiving that just passed, soon as the nigga hopped in the car, that's the first thing he brought up. We dumping honey all over the bitch. I'm sucking it. Like I said, I'm sucking it. This nigga got a titty. We like, oh shit, nigga. Like, she just letting us do whatever. She liked it and everything. And then we just stopped. I was like, nah, we gotta stop this shit because she's like, why? Why do you want to stop? I was like, because like I said, it's just, this shit's kind of weird at the end of the day. Like, plus, that's just not really my style. She's like, all right. She's like, but I'm saying I just want the rest of it licked off. I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna stop. He's like, oh, Cuddy, we gotta stop. I said, yeah, let's just go ahead and stop. Like, this shit is a little bit too much. So, why did I even bring this shit up? Oh yeah, how I used to be a grimy ass nigga because of this video. That was one situation. Eventually, we stopped fucking once he came out of jail and everything like that. We stopped fucking. But the other story, I told some of you guys already. It's funny I never told you guys that story. The other story that has something to do with this shit. What was I just about to tell you guys? Oh yeah, the other story I told you guys. There was some big four-headed bitch that I used to fuck with for one summer. I only started fucking with her because the homie told me he needed me to fuck with her because that was his girl's friend. I said, all right, cool. I actually had thought this girl was sexier. She was taller, light-skinned. They were both light-skinned, but his chick was tall. I'm like, why is she fucking with this short-ass nigga? Anyways, long story short, I'm fucking this bitch for a favor for the summer. He's fucking his girl. Long story short, I fucked the bitch once or twice. Told her that was the only girl I actually dumped in life. I like girls to stop talking to me. I like to get dumped. You know why? Because I like to leave an implant. If I get dumped, I never did nothing wrong. So you're always going to think about me. If I dump you, I'm always going to be considered an asshole in your eyes. So I love it when chicks stop fucking with me. I'm never going to be the person to be like, you know what, we're done. I'm going to just let you stop fucking with me. You're going to get tired of me or you're going to say some dumb shit or fuck with another nigga. And I'm never going to be salty about it. But anyways, so I got finished fucking her a couple of times or whatever. And I said, you know what, such and such. I said, I just can't fuck with you no more. I remember the phone conversation like it was yesterday. Got on the phone, I called her. I was like, yeah, I got to talk to you. She's like, wow, what's good, boo, blah, blah, blah. I said, damn. I said, I just can't fuck with you like that no more. She was like, why? I said, I don't know. I just can't fuck with you like that no more. You're not my style. Like, you're not really my type. I only started fucking with you because such and such told me that he needed somebody to fuck with you while he was fucking with such and such. It's like, are you serious, my nigga? After I just fucked you, like, blah, blah, blah. You're the first nigga I fucked, blah, blah, blah. I can't believe this. After I fuck you twice, it's the... Long story short, that was the first and last chick I ever broke up with. So, she still had a thing for me, this and that. Fast forward to like a year later, she still was calling me, trying to fuck me. I'm just blowing her off. Never was my style. Forehead was out. Bitch had the forehead. What's those dinosaurs where they got this big ass dome they ram you? I forgot. But anyways, this bitch just had a giant ass forehead and I just wasn't fucking with it. Like the bitch looked like Tweety Bird with a big ass forehead. So, like I said, some of you guys heard this part. This dude called me one day like, yeah, my nigga, shit, such and such trying to come over, blah, blah, blah. You gonna come over and serve? My nigga, my auntie not home, blah, blah, blah. I said, all right, for sure. I said, you know what? Nah. He's like, you don't even want to come over to kick it? I said, nah, man. He's like, you sure, my nigga? She over here fiending for you, bro. Like, she said she don't, like, what's good, my nigga? I said, nah, I'm cool. I said, you go ahead and kick it with her. Dude calls you back an hour later, like, my nigga. I was like, what? He's like, shit, man, she got that cool. I said, cool? He said, yeah, my nigga, she let me serve. I was like, ah. I said, oh, she let you fuck? He's like, yeah, my nigga, she let me serve. What's good? What's good, bro? So I said, all right, for sure. I said, it was cool too. She's like, yeah, my nigga, that shit was straight. Long story short, I called up a bitch that he was fucking with for a particular summer. Fuck this bitch. One day he called me. He's like, shit, what you up to, my nigga? I said, just seeing how many condoms I got left. He's like, condoms? She's like, shit, why you playing with condoms, my nigga? Why? What was you getting into? I was like, I got a couple magnums left. He's like, I hear you, but what was you getting into? I was like, I just got finished fucking somebody. He's like, shit, who'd you serve, my nigga? What's up? I said, Tiffany. He was like, Tiffany, who? I say, yo, Tiffany. He's like, oh, you fucked Tiffany, bro. I said, well, y'all broke up, and I thought since you fucked such and such that it was cool if I fucked Tiffany. He was just like, oh, he's like, all right, I'm gonna call you later, my nigga. He's like, don't trip. Hangs up. After that, that nigga never fuck with me like that again. Now, how you gonna serve one of my ex-flings, and then when I bang your bitch, it's a problem? So it's just like watching a video like this. That's why I believe shit like this is real. And the funny thing is, there was this one chick, she was way out of his league, but we had met these chicks at like the fair or some shit like that. He's like, shit, he's like, I'm gonna holler at the light skin when you holler at the, when you holler at the caramel skin one. Knowing good and damn well I only like light skinned girls, if I'm gonna go that route. He ended up fucking her. That was his girlfriend, blah, blah, blah. But one of my other homies ended up fucking her too. He found out that, that my other homie had fucked, but the nigga was still best of friends and rode his dick to the end of time. So it's just like, I don't know. I believe niggas like this exist. For one, I mean, I would never do no shit like this, like feeling another dude's ass next to him. But yeah, I banged fucking dudes, bitches and shit like that. So all you niggas saying this shit is fake, don't ever put it over. Now, I'm not gonna bang nobody's bitch now, but don't ever put it over on somebody else that could bang your chick. This shit is real. Do I like red eyes? I mean, yeah, they cool, but a red eye for a daily driver? Why? Like, to me, like, why would I have a a red eye with no home? Why would I have a red eye in a fucking apartment? I think the highest you should go for a Charger without having a home first is a RT. My first car, a 91 Caprice. But obviously the year was way beyond 91. I like begged my mom for the PD Pablo car. I was like, yo, mom, can I get this PD Pablo car? Because she got like a fat income tax one. Actually, it wasn't even an income tax. She got a settlement for like a crazy amount of bands. She would always sue her jobs and shit. She would always sue her jobs and then get a big ass bag. She'd get like 30 bands. She got like 30 bands like 4 times from suing jobs. She would fall at these jobs and then she would sue and actually win all the cases. So fucking, I like begged her. I was like, yo, mom, can I get a PD Pablo car? I ain't exposing nothing. She don't got none of that paper no more. Any fucking ways. I don't know how she won those cases, but she sued like 4 different joints and got like 40 something bands a piece. Because she would always tell me, she'd show me the numbers. She'd be like, yeah, I mean, this case is almost done. And then, yeah. So she bought me my first car. It was $2,200. I remember I seen it on the internet. And I pulled up to this black dude's house. And my mom was like, that's the car you want? She's like, the max I'm getting you a car is $2,000. So I settled for a ghetto ass. Here, let's pull it up. Imagine driving this in the 2000s. Mid 2000s at that. This is my first car. Here, let me try to find a non-pixelated version. Why is everything fucking pixelated? Okay, there we go. Yeah, this is my first car. I was driving this shit in the mid 2000s, bro. Nah, my gear shift was right here. You go. So the reason why I chose this car, it only takes 7-Eleven. It's a 4-door, bro. So the reason why I chose this car is because, it had electric windows too. The reason why I chose this car is because I knew that I couldn't afford anything in that particular. There's no way I could afford a car that was a mid 2000s vehicle at that time. I was a extra young broke ass nigga, like. And I convinced her to buy me this car, but it's something about the paint on the vehicle that even if you touched it with your fingerprint, it would just do something to the paint and just leave a black fingerprint. So I would be out there. I went out there all day and I bought all this car shit and I cleaned it. And I remember on the side panel, the carpet was so worn out. You know, like when you get out the car, the carpet was so worn out. You could see the wires. You go into there, you see the wires. And the car had like a cigarette smoke smell in it, cigarette burns. And I remember asking the guy, I was like, man, I was like, could I get it for $1,800? He's like, nope. I was like, that's the best you could do is, he said, man, I'm selling for 22. He's like, you don't want to get it right now? He's like, shit, somebody gonna pull up right after you, bro. I was like, you can't do it for 19? He's like, nope. He was like, shit, that shit's solid, bro. He's like, it got cool mileage. I'm only asking 2,200, bro. So I paid for the whip. I didn't even know how to drive yet. I didn't even have my fucking license. I didn't even know how to drive. So I got the fucking car, and my mom's, I think it was her dude or some shit at the time, had to drive the car back. I didn't have no license. I couldn't drive. I didn't know how to drive. But the car was sitting out there and I cleaned it and everything like that. And so this is how I learned how to drive. All right, so I had a homie that he was dating this chick that I hooked him up with, because I knew these two Becky twins that acted black. They were like 5'9", damn near 6 feet, two Becky twins. Thick as fuck, everything. They had an older sister that didn't have the same attributes. She was like the short, stubby, chubby one. And I was like, and my homie was a virgin. So I was like, how about I hook you up with such and such? He was like, oh, for real? He's like, you think she would fuck with me? I said, yeah, I think so. I said, yeah, I think she fucks with niggas. And he was like, all right, shit. So I hooked him up. Dude immediately fell in love, blah, blah, blah. Long story short, fuck all of that. We're not telling his story, we're telling mine. So it was one night. He was like, damn, what is he like? I'm calling her up and she ain't answer the phone. I got a feeling she cheating on me, bro. I said, well, what do you, I mean, it's 50-50, but I said, we're here. Like, what are we supposed to do? He's like, I don't know, but she cheating on me, my nigga. I got a feeling she cheating on me right now, nigga. Like, we gotta do something about it. Mind you, I stayed on the west side, but the Beckys stayed on the deep west side with all the ritzy homes. So I was thinking like, well, I don't know how to drive. I don't got no fucking license. I got a car out there, but I don't know how to drive and I don't have my license yet. I just had the car. He's like, where the fuck your keys at? He's like, where your keys at, nigga? He's like, where your keys? I said, why you asking for my keys? Dude found my keys, ran outside, hopped in my car, starts up my car. I said, what are you doing? I run out there. I'm in between, I get in between my vehicle and another vehicle, and a dude like crunched one of my knees. You just hear that shit go. I was like, nigga, you on my knee. So he stopped the car, said, all right. I said, if you want me to take you, I got you. So I'm in the car, like I had driven like in a parking lot, but this is my first time driving on a fucking street. I don't know how my knee is good to this day, but for a long time in life, in and out, like I felt like my shit was fucking up. Now it's 100% good. I don't know what happened. By the grace of the creator, I guess when I travel back different dimensions, the technology that they have to kind of, redo the ACLs and things like that, they must have did something to me on one of my abductions, because it's gone. So we hop in the car. I'm all nervous. I didn't have no license, nothing. He's like, hurry up, my nigga, drive faster. He's like, this shit don't go a little bit faster. I said, dude, I said, I don't know how to drive. I said, this is my first time driving in the street. So we go over there, and the girl has like another dude over there, and he's like all crying. He's like, man, I can't believe she got another dude over here. What the fuck? I was like, well, are you gonna go in there? He's like, hell no, fuck that bitch, blah. He's like, let's go home, this and that. Yeah, so I had this vehicle. So this particular car, I was going to see this chick that I had a huge crush on. This is how I wrecked it. So I was going to see this chick that I had a huge crush on. I don't remember what the fuck I was wearing. Oh yeah, this is what I was wearing. Check this out. I remember the shoes I was wearing. How do you even spell that shit? I don't even remember how to spell Reebok no more. Let me see. So I was wearing some Reebok ice creams. These ones to be exact. So yeah, I was like, this, you know, this one Pharrell was like, Pharrell set the cause, bro. Like, Pharrell changed the whole game on how people started dressing and shit. So I was like, man, I said, I gotta get me some ice creams. So we had a Reebok outlet out here. And I called, I said, yeah, do you guys have those like Reebok ice cream sneakers from Pharrell? They were like, yeah, we got a couple pairs. It was like, yeah, we have both colors. What's your size? I said, 13. He said, yeah, we got those. I said, can you hold them? I go over there, I get them. I'm really thinking I'm styling. I'm wearing, you remember like the Lil Wayne style, like fucking big ass pants with skate kicks, big ass pants with Bapestas and shit like that. So I remember I go get them. I can't remember what shirt, I don't know what shirt I was wearing, what pants I was wearing, but I'm driving. Now, me personally, I remember this being a green arrow. I'll tell you why I never wore these shoes again after this. I remember me personally, I seen a green arrow. I know I seen a green arrow. I'm driving, right? I'm listening to this song right here.
I think.
Hold on, some blacks are arguing outside. Give me a sec. All right. All right. That probably sounded bad, but that's not what I meant. All right. All right, so, all right, I was driving listening to this song. I'm just driving, I'm going to see this chick. I'm just whipping.
First verse. Can't believe when I know you deserve better. I'm gonna keep loving you.
And this is how I was whipping. I had my fist right here on my chest. All right, I want you to remember this part. Remember, all right, listen to the part where it says, hopefully. All right, listen. So that part right there, hopefully. So I'm driving, I seen a green arrow. I seen a green fucking arrow, bro. To this day, I seen a green arrow. I'm listening to Jagged Edge. This is when I still believed in love. I thought the world was a different place. Like, remember, the world didn't feel this tainted, right? To me, honestly, when I look back, chicks were still the same. It's just social media like wasn't crazy like that. So I'm listening to my Jagged Edge. I got my CD in. I'm whipping. I see this Honda Element coming towards me. Now I see a green arrow, so I keep going. I turn. Soon as you hear hopefully, boom. Now, somebody asked me if I've ever been KO'd. I forgot when I got into a car accident. The Honda Element, all I remember is seeing headlights. And I woke up with my face all itchy and powdery from a fucking, what's the shit called? An airbag. I wake up and I just keep hearing this shit over and over again. that shit kept replaying because my car was so fucked up. And I'm just like, I'm in the air, I'm in a fucking air. Yeah, the shit was skipping because my car got fucking destroyed. And I remember, so I kept hearing it over and over again. I get out the car, and I like get out, and nothing is wrong with me, bro. I should have died. The shit was like, if Zeus came down and went boom, and just socked one side of my vehicle in and crunched the fuck out of it. So this whole side of the vehicle was just like transformed. Nobody was in the vehicle. This is I'm telling you how I wrecked the car. Nobody was in the vehicle. Luckily, they would have died. 100%. So I remember getting out of the car, and I'm like trying to force myself to cry and shit. I'm like, and this dude, this Indian dude, a real Indian, not like fucking quickie. All right, let me not say that. Not like Sri Lankan, but we talking about like T-Hawk. He says, "Are you all right, brother?" I said, "I think so," but I was like, "Look at my car." I'm like, "Look at my car," with my knees and shit. I'm crying, like trying to fake cry. Like, "Look at my car." And the reason why I was so upset, because I knew I couldn't have bitches no more if I didn't have a vehicle. Yeah, he was Native American, but I'm trying to make the story funny. So I knew I didn't even care about my well-being. I just knew that I couldn't have bitches no more because I wrecked my only way to see chicks all over the goddamn town. Even though my car was old. So I get out the car, and I'm on the grass and I'm rolling around. I'm like trying to force myself to cry, like, and I'm like crying and shit. So this dude, I was like, my fucking car. So, yo, rolling on the grass, everything. I'm rolling on the grass in these. All right, so I'm rolling on the grass in these. And the fucking Native American dude, he was like, "Brother," he was like, "It's just a car." He's like, you came out of that with your life. He's like, "That's just a car." He's like, "You're coming out. He's like, you're not injured." He's like, "You should be grateful." He's like, "You should be thanking God, brother." He's like, "You're worried about," and he was like kind of telling me off, but trying to like calm me down. So these motherfuckers towed the wrecked ass, crushed crap Transformers vehicle to my fucking house, and I had to look at that shit for a long time, and I finally got the shit taken to a tow yard. So I was like, man, what could I do to get this money again? Now, this part of the story, I can't tell you guys my hustler story. I'm sorry, I just can't. Maybe if we ever reach like 5K subs on Twitch one day, or 3K subs. Well, let's do 3K subs. So I can't tell you this gap into my story. I cannot. So, hold on, nigga, you asking me too many questions. I'm about to baby boo your ass out of my chat. All right, so basically, long story short, I was like still a kid, bro. And I'm like, how do I get money? How do I get money? Every job application I was filling out was not calling me. It was over for me. My mom had only gave me 2 bands or $2,200 to get that vehicle. It was over. She said, "Don't even think, I'm gonna buy you another car." It was over for me. Gap. You guys can't hear it until we get 3,000 subs. I hustled, did whatever I could, hustled up another $3,000. I got this. So this is the exact car I got. Damn, let me get a better pic. Let's make it bigger. I wish there was a cleaner picture, because this one I had was fucking clean as shit. But at least it's an idea, all right? Nah, let me finish, bro. Hold on, let me finish. Because my first Caprice was complete garbage. How long did it take? I think I was whipless for like a good 6 months or so. All right, so this is the second car I got. So I hustled up 3 bands. Well, I probably had more than that, but I hustled up 3 bands. I was searching all over for a new Caprice on eBay. So I'm searching. I found this car. I was like, I gotta get another one, but to my stature, my likings. So I hustle up 3 bands. Hold on. I hustled up 3 bands. Hold on a sec. Now, mind you, this was still an old ass whip to be like, come on, man. You got to fast forward. Like, I'm still trying to drive this car in the mid 2000s. So I hustled up 3 bands. I found one on eBay. Clean ass insides. Everything was perfect. Everything. Paint had this glittery gloss to it. Insides was crazy. I was like, yo, I gotta get this. So I started bidding on the Caprice. I'm like bidding on it. I waited to the last second, put $2,600 on there. Boom. Taxes, fees, everything came up to $3,000. So I had to drive down to San Luis Obispo. Ferris, you know where that shit is. I had to drive all the way down to San Luis Obispo. I went, got out all hundreds, went down there with a wad of cash, had my friend drive me. It was a 6-hour drive there, 6-hour drive back. So I pull up. It was like this white guy. He's like, oh, you're the guy that won the bid? We've been talking on the phone, and I said, yeah. He's like, oh, okay. All right. So here's the car. I check it out. I'm like, this shit is clean. I'm checking out. I'm looking, because my white Caprice was dirty as fuck. The paint was trash, cigarette burns. You know, it was a double O mobile, and you know double O's don't really take care of this shit on a grand scale, especially the, hood double O, same thing. So I checked the car, was beautiful. I hand out the money. He said, "Where'd you get all this money from?" I said, I'm a hustler. That's how you know I was an extra young dumbass nigga. I didn't even know what to say. I was just like, oh, I'm a hustler. And he's just like, a hustler? Okay. He's like, all right, well, hustler, do you mind if I go in the bank and check if these hundreds are real? I said, yeah. I said, go ahead. So he goes in the bank, comes out, and he's like, all right, everything checks out. He's like, all right, well, the car's yours. I counted the money. The hundreds are real. Here's the keys. All right, have a safe trip back. So 6-hour drive back. I remember pulling into my apartments at the time, just like this. I really thought I was on this type of shit.
Yo, Peter Pablo.
Oh, he riding clean too.
That's all I kept hearing in my fucking head when I pulled in the apartments. Everybody's like, oh, that's you. Ah, I'm pulling in. They're like, all right. They're like, I see you, bro, blah, blah, blah. I'm just pulling. I just had the seat back. I just thought I was sick. Pulled in, parked it. Whipped this car for quite some time, man. I remember I sold it. I sold the car for $2,200 or $23,000 when I was finally done with it. I had this, and then I had the 07 Charger. I sold this shit for $2,200. I was so happy to get out of this vehicle. Let me tell you, when I got the most tickets that I've ever had in my life. I think I might have got 12 tickets in that Caprice. It was just a cop magnet. I always got pulled over. I always got tickets. Cops hated this fucking car. So I sold the motherfucking car, man. I sold the car to this big Spanish dude. He was like so ecstatic to get it, and I was so ecstatic to get rid of it. Yeah, it definitely was a ghetto whip, 100%. Why'd I sell it for so low? Nobody else was offering me paper for it. And then, yeah, I ended up selling my 07 Charger too. I bought it. I got the shit like a few years ago. I bought it, paid it off. I had too many cars. I was like, yo, I gotta get rid of this shit. So did a homie discount for somebody, sold it. I think I sold my charger for like 4 bands or some shit, some homie discount price. I just wanted to get rid of it. So, yeah. And now I drive what I like. Blacklisted. Should have never had that 200 milligrams of caffeine tonight. I think we ran out of scrubs to play though. I'm not even gonna front. I think that might have been the last scrub. The last scrub bender. There's got to be one more scrub that just getting up for work in the morning. Congratulations if you do. Oh shit, LTG streaming? Shit, maybe I can get a game in before I go clock in. Yo, I used to do that shit. I used to be late to work every day playing Tekken 6. When that shit first dropped, I was dead ass tardy to work every day fucking playing Tekken 6 on 360. He said Walmart overnight. Starker's trying to match me. That's fucked up. I eventually got fired from that job too. It was I was always late to that job because I just kept playing video games before I had to go to work. So I used to always change my time on the time clock, because like if you go in the inside of the system, you could like morph your time. So one time like I clocked in, clocked out of my lunch, and then I clocked in again and clocked out and fucked up my stamps. So I asked the dude in the back that was a manager. His name was Vince. I was like, yo Vince, I messed up on my clock in, clock out times. Can you fix my punches? He's alright bro, I got you. I fucking let him log into my shit. He's like, bro, did you come in here and manually change your time, bro? I said, yeah, I was supposed to be here. You know, the window said 9 minutes. I brought it back to 7 minutes to make sure it didn't count as a tardy. He's like, you're not allowed to do that, bro. He's like, I could fire you right now if I wanted to, bro. I said, okay, so what's the verdict? He was like, all right, look. He's like, this weekend? He's like, I'm not going to fire you, bro. But he's like, this weekend? He was like, I want you to take the weekend off and then come back Monday. I said, why would I need to do that? He said, just take a couple days to really think about what you did. Because you stole company time, bro. And he's like, I can fire you if I wanted to. But he's like, I'm not going to do that, bro. I said, okay, well, all right, I'll take the weekend off. You know, I take my weekend off, you know, I'm playing video games, you know, all that type of shit, thinking I got the shit scot-free. I go back to work on Monday. You know, I'm doing my shit, you know, joking around with people in the auto section, you know, having a good old fucking time. I come back to work. They said, such and such, can we get you in the office? I said, okay. Go into the office. I was like, what's good? And one of my other managers, she was like, all right, so I'm sorry to say this, but she's like, yeah, Vince is firing you. I said, what? And then she has security in there with her. She called security. I don't know if they thought I was going to flip out or some bullshit. But this nigga dead ass fired me for 2 minutes. For changing my clock in time from 2 minutes and called it stealing company time. She's like, yeah, Vince is firing you. He has here that you stole company time. I said, dude, I put my minutes back from 9 to 7. She's like, well, technically that is stealing company time because that means you were dishonest about what time you clocked in. You know, we technically look at that as stealing company time. So it's not my call. Like if it was me, I wouldn't have gave a fuck. I wouldn't have gave a shit. But, you know, Vince, yeah, he said he wanted you fired from the company. I was like, all right, well, fuck. I said, let me get my fucking last check then. And that's exactly what I said. I said, let me get my fucking last check then. She said, all right, I'll drop a check for you. There is security there just in case. Remember, I didn't do this. This is all Vince. Don't be mad at me. I'm just relaying the message. I said, all right, let me get my fucking check. So let me get the fuck up out of this bitch. And I like walked out, my like khakis and collared shirt and Timberlands. And yeah, that nigga fired me for 2 minutes. For changing my clock in time for 2 minutes. But had somebody else do it because he was a bitch. So yeah. Every time I got fired from a job, it was for being tardy. But never for not showing up to work, but for always coming in a couple of minutes late. I'm gonna send you guys off with one more quick firing story. Nah, I never did shit to this fat ass motherfucker. So, alright, so I had this one job where I would go in late every fucking day, but I was always there, like, did what I was supposed to do. I never called out the whole time I was working there. So over the course of working this particular job, I was going late every fucking day. I was taking, instead of, you know how you get like a little 10-minute break? Shit, I'd be in my car for 30 minutes. If it was the wintertime, I had a blanket, kicking it in the seat. I'm like, hold on. I'm literally with a blanket in the fucking front seat, just chilling. I'm like, man, fuck a 10, I'm taking a 20. Fuck a 10, I'm taking a 30. Because we didn't clock out for our breaks, so I was just abusing that shit like a motherfucker. Throughout the course of the time of working there, we had 3 different managers. The first manager never gave a fuck about me being late. They never wrote me up for that shit or anything. The second manager we had never gave a fuck. Never wrote me up for being late or taking extended breaks. The third manager we had never wrote me up for being late or taking extended breaks. The fourth manager, I got this old crinkly ass Blair Witch looking ass woman. Face looked like if you just creased your palms. With this dirty, scraggly ass, dirty blonde hair. Face looked like a goddamn tree when you fucking cut it down. You know how they say how old a tree looks? By all the fucking swirls and shit it has in it? That's basically how her face looked. Had these little beady ass blue eyes. With this raspy ass cigarette smoking ass voice. I just had a feeling that she didn't like me or some shit. Maybe I was too clean for the job, or she felt I was arrogant. So this chick, we had a clock-in system. At first, we used to have some shit where we just like, we clocked in, but we never had to clock in our breaks. It was like some ghetto-ass clock-in system. So the company came and put all this new shit where we had to start clocking in and out for our breaks. So I guess I was still taking my 30-minute breaks because I didn't give a fuck. So this chick, she documented me for like 7 months. She documented me. She would come back there, act all nice, like, all right, guys, so did you guys get all your stuff? Like, all right. Did you guys get all your stuff? All right, I see you working over there. All right, that looks good. Excellent. All right, yeah. All right, so, yeah, you did an excellent job last night. I just want to let you know, I've never had anybody clean the back how you cleaned the back. So I will let you know you did an excellent job. I'm just like, I'm thinking in my head like, man, fuck all this shit. Anyways, I'm just doing what I'm supposed to do. It's not like I never didn't do it before. You know, this scraggly ass, cigarette ass smoking voice. This chick secretly was documenting me for like 6-7 months, all my tardies, everything. But I was still, remember, I never call out. When I'm working jobs, I never call out. I gotta be real fucked up to not go to a job. So she calls me into the office. She's like, yeah, can I get such and such over the office? She called over the intercom. I'm thinking like, the fuck? The fuck's this Blair Witch want from me? I go into the office. She's like, all right, could you close the door real quick? I'm like, all right. She said, all right, so, basically, I know you're a great worker. Yeah, that's not a problem. But unfortunately, I've looked back and checked some of the records. Out the whole time you've been working here, you've taken extended breaks. You've had missed punches.
clock in wrongs, everything. So based off of that, I'm gonna have to go ahead and let you go and fire you because you've been. I wouldn't consider this abusing company time, but your punches have been all over the place.
I was like, when she told me that I was fired, I've never felt better. I'm like, God damn. I've been wanting to get fired for so goddamn long. And now it's finally happening. I smiled at her. I said, all right, cool. I said, all right, so is this probation or? She's like, all right, so I want you to go ahead and take the rest of the month off. We're going to do an evaluation investigation through the company. And then you're going to come back in February. And we're going to let you know if the company wants to keep you or not. I was like, all right, fuck it. I fucking left. Sped off. I had a great fucking day. Slid back in there February 1st.
So, all right, so the company, basically what we decided to do is we're going to let you go.
I was like, shit. I said, cool. Nigga, I was making $430 every 2 weeks. I was so happy when I fucking got fired. When I tell you guys I've never been happier in life, it was when I got fired from that fucking job. It never felt better. I remember I used to want to be a fucking cop. And then I changed my mind. I think I was like 20. I was real set on being a police officer. And then I just didn't do it. Nah, you can't look at every cop as no pig. Let me tell you some about cops when it come to me. I've never had a cop end a stop being disrespectful to me. You know why? Because it's the way you deal with police officers is you allow them to do their fucking job. Yeah, I really was gonna be a cop when I was 20, but I knew I wouldn't have been happy doing that job because I would have, I know me. So I'm telling you guys, look, the only cop to ever impound my car, I'll never forget. I think I might have been like 21 and my license was suspended. And I was like, man, if I just go around the corner to the bank, there's no way I'm going to get caught. But I was so fucking scared. I was like, man, my license is suspended. My shit could get revoked. Dude, I kid you not. I took the back way to go to Chase. I see lights behind me. Pew! Cop pulls me over. He's like, you're driving on a suspended license, son. Keyed in your plates. Yeah. All right, so, get on out the car. I was just like, are you going to take my vehicle? He's like, don't worry about all that. Just get on out the car. I'm not going to handcuff you. Just sit in the back for me while I run everything. He said, all right, no need to search it, your vehicle or anything like that. But he's like, the main problem here, man, is you're driving on a suspended license. I said, officer, I was just trying to go right to Chase to deposit some money. He said, that's fine and dandy, but you can't do that on a suspended license. He's like, you play basketball and the thing, man? He's like, you look like you one of them basketball players. He's like, you look athletic. Trying to start conversation with me and everything. I'm like, nah, I'm not a professional basketball player or aspiring to be one. I said, I used to. I'm making conversation back, thinking about, I'm thinking maybe he gonna let me go. So he's like, all right, sit tight. The dude's keying in my shit for like 30 minutes. He says, all right, this is what's gonna happen. I'm gonna do you a favor. He says, all right, for one thing, he said, the car's gone. All right. I said, the car's gone? He said, yeah, the car's gone. He said, you're driving on a suspended license? I don't know if I tell you, you can go if you're going to go right back home, if you're going to go commit a crime. He said, I can't have that on on my watch. He said, the car's gone. He said, good news is I'm only going to put it on a 48-hour hold. I was just like, 48 hours? He said, yep. Started writing the ticket. He said, you could pick it up at this tow yard. He said, you need a ride or something like that? I said, nah, I'll walk. He said, all right, man. He said, go ahead and hop on out my back seat. It's on a 48-hour hold at this lot. Here's the ticket. You can pick it up. Just make sure you go there with somebody with a license. Now, you just sound like a old ass black dude. He's like an old ass black dude. Guys, be prepared to ban this nigga right here. It looks like some fucking tier sexual ass shit. So anytime I've been pulled over by a white cop, by an Hispanic cop, let me tell you, I'm not gonna lie and say they haven't wrote me a ticket before, but they've never impounded my vehicle. Not once. And there's been times where I've been speeding and white cops let me go. Pull me over. Like, hey, he's like, all right, brother. He's like, where are you speeding to? Where are you going? I saw I'm just going to such and such, headed to the gym. He said, well, what's the point of speeding? I said, I just got finished, doing my thing, blah, blah, blah. Just trying to head to the gym, be there. I'm supposed to meet, a crew of people to work out. He said, all right, you play college ball or anything? I mean, you look like a college basketball player. I don't know. I said, nah. I said, no, I'm not that. He said, all right. Looked at the car. He said, all right. I'm not going to say nothing about your tinted windows, but he's like, brother, stop speeding. He's like, you're in a residential neighborhood. You know what type of ticket I can give you for this? I said, all right, I definitely will stop speeding. Because here's what I do. When cops pull me over, I already got my hands on the steering wheel. So I'm already letting them know mentally, I don't mind submitting because I know you're doing your job. I know you got a badge. I know you got power. Yeah, a lot of these niggas probably trolls. So guys, be prepared to ban these niggas, bro. They're doing, I guess bronze is different. But we got a copper random ass nigga in here. I'm thinking about just banning him off GP. I think we should just ban that nigga, bro. Spectrum Wireless? Yeah, we gonna ban your ass. Fuck out of here. Not taking no chances. It's only $1 anyway. Oop. Yeah, like I said, when cops pull me over, I banned that nigga. Fuck up out of here. I already got my hands on the steering wheel. I asked him, may I get my license, please? I said, go ahead and get your license. I move slow, grab my shit. Boom, I sit there tight, keep my hands on the motherfucking steering wheel. Boom. Nah, this isn't a topic, so you don't need to apologize for going green. Yeah, I know the idea of having having a sugar mama might sound good, but you got to remember you do have to actually fornicate with these chicks. Like, it's not just, come collect a stack, go over there, get top for 5 bands and leave. Like, you actually have to be a slave to this shit. You can't just go 1 round. You got to, go 3 rounds and eat box and wear Speedos and put on a fucking Batman mask. Dress up like Robin with the British Broadcasting Company out. Yeah, it's too much shit you got to do. How do I know to do all that? Just relax. I once had an older chick. I couldn't accept it though because I felt like I was gonna be a slave. So this chick, she was a millionaire or whatever. I just felt like such a kid around her, even though I'm not. So, I drive American, cars and shit like that. She had Audi trucks. She had what's that fucking crazy ass AMG? Where that shit looks like a spaceship on the inside. Nah, she don't have no kids. She drove, I forgot what AMG, but it was like I think it was like over 100K AMG. It was a nasty AMG. The dash like was all digital. You get in that shit, it's like you're inside of a fucking UFO. It wasn't a G-Wagon, no. It was a nasty AMG. Like, that shit was nice. I got in it, I just felt like a bum. I got in it wearing like fucking Under Armour and workout clothes because, you know, I'm just chilling. I just felt like a peon as soon as I hopped in that shit. I was like, fuck. And I remember I'd asked her, I said, why do you want to fuck with me? I said, I'm just a guy on YouTube. She's like, oh my God. She was like, listen, let me tell you something about me. She's like, listen, let me tell you something about me. She's like, I'm authentic. She's like, I know what I want. You know, she's like an older Latina chick. She's like, I'm authentic. I know what I want. She was like, I don't play any games. Excuse my French. I don't really cuss like that, but I don't play any fucking games. She's like, I really like you. And I really think that there's something there. But just the fact that she was so much more successful than me, I just couldn't mentally do it. Now, if I was a regular guy, you know, ejaculated inside, got her pregnant, hurried up, you know, started this family and just been good. But I would have just felt like, what did I explain to you guys? That I would always feel like just emasculated because she just makes so much more money. Like, I'm never going to tell you what it is, nothing, but she makes 7 figures a year. Like, nah, but I felt weird around her because she was so much more successful, which is great. But I felt like it would always be some catch up shit. Like, I don't know, man. I just couldn't do it. But long story short, one of my birthdays, she had offered me braces. I went over there. It was just like, everything felt classic. I went over there. This chick, when you went to her house, she had a chick open the door. Like, she had a servant. Like, she had like a live-in chick that would open up her front door and shit for her. So I go over and I knock on the door. I'm just wearing a regular hoodie, you know, some Under Armour shorts. I'm like, man, let me see what's up. I can't tell you what she did, but just know that she's very successful. But so, and it's funny because this was somebody I always wanted to fuck with. I would see her at the gym. I'd be like, man, who's this like sexy older Latina, blah, blah, blah. And I said, this was like years ago. I would see her and I'd be like, man, she fire, blah, blah, blah. See her over there working out, got her headphones on. Anyways, so this wasn't too long ago, bro. This was like 2018. So I go over there and I knock on the door and she didn't even fucking answer. She had like her servant or something answer. I said, damn. I said, you didn't even answer the door? She's like, no, that's my she's like, that's my live-in like secretary. I was like, oh, okay. And she's like, all right, come to my room. So I went over. I know this sounds like a movie and sounds like bullshit, but when I tell you something, it's not bullshit. She had a silk robe on. That's how I knew like she was classic. She had a silk robe on. I was just like, fuck. So she sits me down. She's like, all right, so I got some things for you for your birthday. I said, okay, cool. I said, I really didn't need nothing because I really don't celebrate my joint like that. But she's like, come on, stop being a party pooper. She's like, look, all right, sit down. Here's your gifts. Like, I felt sunned over everything. Everything she did, I just felt like a peon. Like, I just was not on this chick's level financially. And you know, I'm arrogant and confident as shit. But I just felt like nothing I did was like, it just would never be good enough. But this chick really, really was fucking with me and really liked me. But I had a mental block in my head where I could never get past how much more successful. I felt like in order to catch up with her, I would have to be like a B-list actor. That'd be the only way I could do it. There would be nothing else in life I could do to catch up with her in money, but be a B-list actor. So, long story short, I go over there. She has a box, and I could tell she wanted me to stop wearing vintage tees and forces. And obviously, my shit is more swag now, but so she was always buying me like, she bought me a Versace shirt, Of course, she left the price tag on it. I still got that shit. She bought me a Versace shirt. She would always buy me shit. She bought me like a bunch of shit from Express. And then I open up this card and it's like this certificate. And I open it up and it's like an appointment to the dentist. And I was like, I said, what's this? She's like, well, you're always talking about how you want to get your teeth fixed and everything like that, and how you just want to be perfect. So I want to help you be perfect. I said, so is this like a checkup? She's like, come on, don't be silly. She was like, they're braces. I was like, seriously? She's like, yeah, you know, I want you to be at your best. Like, I want to do good things for you. I just felt like a fucking bum, bro. Like, I just felt like a peon. Like, and I was like, I thought in the back of my head, I was like, yo, if I have a straight grill, pearly whites, everything, because of this woman, every time I open up my mouth, I'm gonna think about her and how I'm like forever indebted over this woman because of my grill. So I never went to the appointments. I couldn't do it. And she got mad about it. She was like, so I got a call today saying that you missed your appointment. I said, yeah, I wasn't feeling too great today. She's like, come on, don't be irresponsible. She's like, you fucking didn't want to go. I was like, no. I said, I'll reschedule. She's like, all right, reschedule, please. Reschedule. I didn't go again. She called me. She was like, so you missed your appointment again? I said, yeah, I said some things came up. She's like, oh my God, look, I was trying to do something nice for you and you keep blowing off the appointments like you don't really give a fuck. I'm just like, you know, I don't got nothing bad to say about her though. Like, she really wanted to fuck with me. And mentally, I couldn't do it. She had one of those grown woman voices too. Like, there was not an ounce of little girl in this chick. Like, she didn't post thirst traps. Like, she didn't hit no red flag on the list. You know how I got like hella red flags for chicks? We talking about body counts. We talking about thirst traps. She didn't hit one fucking red flag. But I just couldn't do it. For one, she was way older. For two, like, I just felt sunned every time I was around her. Even though she really liked me and she treated me like I was a sexy toy. Like, anytime I was around her, she would like treat me like I'm a piece of meat. Like, she would sit on my lap and she would just grab my face, like, you're so fucking pretty. Like, she'd be like, you're just so fucking handsome. You're so pretty. And just start tonguing me up, slobbing me down, kissing me. She was a Ecuadorian chick. And she would just like, I'm not going to say I felt like an object. That's why I didn't fuck with her. But it's goals that I got for myself that if I felt like I got it by piggybacking off of a woman, it's almost like if I was a porn star and I got money and I made big bank from I would never be able to shake the fact that I was a porn star. Yeah, but she bought me like an expensive autographed picture of Will Smith, like an authentic signature. She got me that. She got me a Versace shirt. She tried to give me braces. She was just doing the most. And I just felt like I just was not on this chick's level. And I would always ask her, I'd be like, why do you want to fuck with a guy like me? Like, I would always ask her that. Because me, I'm a realist. Like, yeah, I'm arrogant and shit like that, but if a rich chick wants to fuck with me, I gotta ask her why. I'm not just gonna be like, see, the thing about it, you gotta carry that shit in your conscience. Like, you know, a lot of you guys are probably like, man, shit, I would have just been fucking her, using her for her money. Like, that comes with a dangerous cost. Like, what if I did all of that and then she secretly had a bunch of shit on contract where she could take all of it back? I could have been driving her Bentley. Like, she just bought a Bentley late last year. She bought a Bentley late last year, all of that shit. Like, she's very fucking successful. Like, she's a boss ass chick. Like, she's so much of a boss where it's funny to see her in sneakers. Like, she looked funny in sneakers because she's got high heels. She's always got business calls. Like, she's a boss. But I just, You know, she was a very cool chick, but she was too old for me, and she was just too fucking successful. I just couldn't do it. I just, you know, low-key like blew her off. Do I miss her? No. I don't miss any chick I used to fuck with. But we didn't end up on bad terms or anything like that. She's just like, look, I know you have your own goals and accomplishments. I see that. I respect that. But she's like, you just don't give me enough time. She's like, you don't give me enough time. Does she still watch me? She probably do. But she's one of those chicks that, like, if I don't fuck with her, she won't congratulate me. She would only congratulate me for shit if I was still fucking with her. So I could tell she's still a little bit salty that I didn't fuck with her, because she was probably thinking like, how the fuck is this YouTube fucker that's not even famous or rich not gonna fuck with me? Like, I could tell that's just how she thought. She would always say, you're the most interesting man that I've ever come across. She was like, it's something about you. She was like, she's like, it's just something about you. You're just so much different. No matter what I do, she's like, you just don't fall into my web. I'm just like, look, I feel like I've seen it all, done it all, fucked it all, talked to it all. I said, there's nothing that anybody can do unless you're in a director's chair. There's nothing that you can do for me financially, like, that I technically can't do for myself that I would get excited about. You get me? So, like, yeah, I tried to, I don't know, I tried to fuck with her, bro, but, yeah, there's just something in the back of my head that was just, I know that's the only reason she was really interested in me like that, too, because no matter how much money she had and how sexy she was, I didn't treat her like she was a fire piece. I wasn't sprung. I wasn't blowing her up. Yeah, when you get out like that, it makes a chick even more interested in you. Yeah, I know I shouldn't care about that, but I'm very hard on myself. I'm very fucking hard on myself. Like, I just can't take no fucking handouts. But, you know, this chick wanted to marry me. She wanted to have my kids, all types of shit. I was just like, ugh. She's building a house. She's building a giant ass mansion in fucking Arizona. She got duplexes. Like, this chick is rich. Like, she's very fucking successful. But, like, look at me. Like, yeah, I guess I got a little platform or whatever, but at the end of the fucking day, like, where do I fit in at all of that? Like, this shit got properties, a business, makes 7 figures a year. Got a fucking Bentley, got an Audi truck. Like, this chick is rich as shit. Where the fuck does a nigga like me fit into that? Yeah, see, that's the same. And for all you guys saying that you would have submitted, you wouldn't have been fucking with her. She wouldn't have been that interested. Nah, she ain't no fucking 6-year-old chick. She like in her 40s. But it's also a red flag. If I see a fire chick, right? A complete boss chick, got everything going for herself, but single. Then she would say like little shit that would turn me off. Cause, you know, I would bring up like pH levels and shit like that. And she'd be like,
Kazuya Kazumaki tipped $3.
This
Do
a
you
troll
think
message?
she will fall in love with the tier sexuals? I wish she was my girlfriend.
oh my God, nigga. All right, anyways, but yeah, about her pH levels. So I mentioned something about pH levels and everything like that. And mind you, I never actually had caught her on foul before either. But I'd be like, why don't you come through after one of your meetings? And she'd be like, I don't know. I can like smell her right now. I said, what are you talking about? You can smell her. She was like, you know, I don't talk like that. I was just like, oh, God. But she was real insecure about me eating box. She was very insecure, and this is how you know she was old school. She had the Adam and Eve. How many of you guys know what the Adam and Eve is? Yes, she had the Adam and Eve bush hairy ass vag, where I had to like go through bamboo and rubbish to get to the, yeah. She had a very hairy box. I'm going like this. I'm like I'm down there, but I'm like, when I went in the bathroom, too. I had to like, yeah, it wasn't a little bush. How to bag a woman like that? I guess that's my secret. I had to, bro. She said she had never encountered a guy who knew how to eat box. So you think that I wasn't gonna show her what was good? Yeah, you know, she had a few things I didn't like about her. Her skin was kind of like aged a bit. Her voice was very raspy. Her skin was aged a bit. Like, she didn't have that smooth, youthful skin. She had like aged skin a little bit. No wrinkles, but just like that mom kind of skin texture. You know what I'm talking about? She had that. Nah, it wasn't wrinkly, but it was just like that leathery kind of look. Not almost reminiscent to the Kim Kardashian pic, but just not on that level. And then like she had real dark hair, but I don't know if it was a shampoo she used, but if I was wearing a black hoodie, she'd like start wiping off my hoodie. It wasn't dandruff, but it was like something about her hair that it would like put white speckles on my hoodies. So that, the extremely hairy box, and then for some reason, as tight and as succulent as the box was, it would always queef. You know, if we're in for 20 minutes, he'd be like, and I'm like, how would you got the tightest box, but start off extra wet, hot, and drippy, and then all of a sudden, it's like, oh my God, sorry about that. She was cool though, but I couldn't see myself fucking with her like that. You know, I tried, you know, we tried to do it, but I wasn't just gonna devote my time to some chick that's super successful. She wanted me to kick it with her and spend all this spare time with her and shit. I was just like, nah. I said, I'm sorry, baby. I got some catching up to do. One time she had told me, she was like, oh my God. She's like, me and my colleagues pulled off a deal. She's like, I'm so excited right now. I said, okay, what does the deal like consist of? She was like, well, I have a team, so they're working the phones, they're doing what they got to do. We scored a big deal, and I'm gonna get my percentage. I said, well, how much was your percentage, if you don't mind me asking? She's like, I don't want to sound like I'm, I don't want to sound. I said, nah, it's cool. Like, I already, I know you're successful, this and that. She's like, about 480,000. I was like, bro, I don't. I said, I can't. Too many levels above. Yeah, she got paper, bro. She's a very successful businesswoman. I mean, I'm pretty sure if I wanted to right now, hit her up like, yo, look, I'm serious. I don't know what I was thinking, but I really want to spend time. I want to give you every weekend of my life. Let's do this. She would be 100% down for it. But I can't do that. Like, I got my own dreams and aspirations. But if I wanted to sacrifice myself, yeah, that's one call away. But yeah.